foggy out today, and foggy every day. Up in the vape cave with Joe of all vapes. What's happening, folks? Appreciate you joining me once again. If this is your first time, smack on that subscribe button that reminds you to hit that one down there so you don't miss any of the latest and greatest. Thank you very much for joining me once again if you have, and all those that are new for the goodness that is to come. You know what I mean? So today we're talking about iJoy, as if I didn't already give it away, the 100 watt Capo kit from iJoy USA and iJoy Global International, okay? So this kit is gonna be utilizing the 21700 battery, and this is actually my first experience using a 21700 battery on anything. You know, the 2700s and the 21700 batteries are pretty brand new to the market recently. They're a little bit fatter on the diameter, but you know, if you can get two 21700s or two 2700s that take the place of 3 or 4 18650s, that's going to suffice for energy and for weight of the structure, okay? So what we're going to do is actually go down and check this out together. This is going to be a raw review. I've never busted this thing out and played with it other than taking the lid off and looked at it, okay? So this one is going to be a brand new review with you guys, but I'm going to try and keep this as pithy as possible because I think I've been boring the pants out of you and me lately. So let's keep this straight, to the point, and get down to doing it. All right, behold the iJoy Capo 100 kit in all of its 100 watt glory, folks, okay? 3750 mAh. Let's take a look at the back of the box, okay? So it features the Captain Mini sub-ohm tank and with that 21700 battery like I was talking about. Let us just bust open this box and take a look at what we've got to work with here. All right, so already it's a pretty small mod, as you can see. I mean, it fits in the palm of my hand. Fire button is pretty much trigger positioned, which I think is really cool. Wide enough upper base with a spring-loaded 510 connection. And this portion, I think I'm used to just having this be the fire button. This is actually where the 21700 battery goes. So, as you can see, oh, and check this out. They've conveniently put the negative symbol on the top so we don't burn this thing out, okay? So, micro USB port for easy charging, so you never have to put this thing into a charging pad, like the little Capo 100 insignia that they got on the back here. Okay, so the Capo comes with the Mini Captain sub-ohm, and this is kind of a miniature version of the Captain S with the sliding fill top portion right there, the top cap, the sliding fill top cap. Really dig that. Okay, so it pretty much comes with every aspect that the Captain S came with, other than just smaller format, you know what I mean? So I'm actually going to take this apart and see what kind of coil they've already got pre-installed into this guy. Convenient little O-rings. Okay, so we've got the 0.3, which busted up to from 40 to 80 watts. So that's pretty standard. And then, of course, they throw in a second one, and that is going to be the 0.5 ohm coil from 30 to 60 watts right there. So we're going to take the top portion of cushy awesomeness off the top there, and check out what they got in the box. Okay, so there is your 21700 battery. 3750 mAh, 40 amp, 3.7 volt, with a 3-leg head on that bad boy. Now, some people say that the 5-prong batteries deliver a little bit of a better connection. Some people say it doesn't matter, the 3 prongs are just fine. Be perfectly honest with you, I haven't seen a whole heck of a lot of difference in either way, one or the other. So maybe I'll, you know, that's something I'll kind of figure out as I use this. Okay, so there's your thick as hell, you know, user manual. Obviously, they probably got about 5 languages worth of information in there. You got your micro USB cord, which is a really cool little addition. And then, of course, you got your swag bag, your Allen key wrench, as well as that upper washer portion for swapping out of the push section here, the top fill, boom, right there, the little gasket, little rubber gasket. Little replaceable one with some replaceable O-rings, and of course some Allen screws replaceable, or just the one, so you can take you know, the top off of your Mini Captain sub-ohm. Okay, so let's stick those aside. and just kind of give a brief little run through of what we're looking at here. Okay, so you got your dimensions, 22.5 on the Mini Captain, OLED screen on the Capo itself, 22.5 millimeter in diameter for the Mini Captain tank. And then of course you've got your other functions, TCR, NITI, SS temperature control. Basically, we're gonna kind of wing this. I'm gonna put the battery in this bad boy. Oh, positive down, remember? Negative. And there we go, fires up immediately. So you got that little mini OLED screen. 1, 2, 3. Let's get into the power settings here. So you got the reset the puff. Nobody really ever uses that stuff. You've got your power, wattage, normal, hard, soft, user preference. Let's kind of click that. So user mode is actually kind of a cool little mode. Basically what it does is it allows you to customize the power output for the first 3 seconds of every puff. And each one of those little columns right there represents a half a second that you can just basically kind of ramp up. So if I wanted to start from scratch, I would go all the way to the beginning here and I would kind of raise that up, and then I would go to the next one and kind of raise that up, and then I would raise that up. And basically what it's gonna do is start out with a quick ramp, and to just kind of continue to ramp down. Or, you know, I could go right back down, cycle back through, bring it right back down, just kind of keep everything nice and kosher like originally where it was. So, I mean, this is kind of a neat little feature. It's nothing I've ever seen before. I don't know if I'm ever going to get a whole heck of a lot of use out of it. I might play around with it a little bit depending on, you know, just different flavors, different kind of e-juices that you use. Maybe something a little bit high VG, you want to start up with a little bit of a heavier ramped power and then just kind of cycle down. You know, it's worth a shot. Let's go back and go to TC. And that is pretty much where you're playing around with your different type of alloy wires. So you got your nickel, your titanium, your stainless steel. Then you got your memory sets here, and just take you right back out to exit. But let's go to TI for instance. So as you can see, it says temperature TI. So basically the temperature will cycle between Fahrenheit and Celsius when the minimum or maximum temperature is reached. Go back to temperature, go back to nickel, and same thing, temp nickel, boom, boom, boom. And we'll go back to temperature. Stainless steel is pretty much going to be the exact same thing. Okay, so you got your temperature control settings with your different memory functions going on right there. Temperature memory 1, so you can pretty much set this to whatever you like. Let's say you have different tanks that you want to interchange this thing with, you know, and you know which one you have a specific you know, wattage output going on. You set this for that, and it'll pretty much keep it consistent with that, and then you won't have to worry about it. Of course, I mean, you can always just up or down ramp too, but this is kind of one of those little, you know, convenience features that some people like. You know, the more features these things have, I think the more enticing they look in the long run, but in all honesty, it comes down to practicality, you know what I mean? So let's hit this 3 more times. We'll go back down to TCR, and then of course you got your memory 1, memory 2 function for the temperature coefficient rating, for those of us that like to get nice and in-depth and nerdly. Let's go back to the settings section here. Screen time, this is basically pretty self-explanatory. It's going to keep it on for 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 60, or 90. I'm going to set it for 90, just so I don't have to constantly keep hitting the fire button to keep this darn thing back on. And we're going to go back to the settings screen. I'm going to set it back to power, because it keeps everything pretty consistent for me. Normal. For those of us that actually do build coils pretty decently, the one way that you can actually calibrate the resistance of a new built coil is by pressing the up and the down ramp buttons both at the same time, boom, with the atomizer attached. Okay, so that is something that you definitely want to do in the temperature control mode. And according to the manual, they say that you need to keep the wire cooled at room temperature. You know, so this is, again, something that's a little bit over Joe Vapes' head. We're going to put the mini Captain Sub-Ohm tank atop. All right, so I've got this filled with a little bit of apple fritter, some of my favorite stuff by my guys over at Vango Vapes. Okay, so while that is priming, Now let's just kind of give it a little bit of a quick fire. Okay, so this is the one thing that I kind of really dig about this device. Obviously it displays the outgoing wattage, but it also gives you not just the ohms, but it gives you the amps and it gives you the volts that go through the device as well. I think that is a really, really cool aspect. And on such a small screen, it's a very clear looking screen. And this does come in a variety of different colors. I was kind of hoping against hope that they'd actually send me the rainbow one, but you know what? Black on black is pretty darn cool too, you know what I mean? So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. You've definitely got your options worked out for you here, okay? So let's bring the camera back up and just kind of give this guy a little bit of a dance. We'll see what kind of cloud production it can take, and maybe do a little bit of a follow-up review later on in the future. But let's check out the Capo 100-watt kit with the mini Captain sub-ohm tank with the 21700 battery from iJoy. Okay guys, so initially we've got this thing set to 60 watts. I'm actually going to start at that point because the coil that comes with the tank is only 0.3 ohms, so it ramps from 40 all the way to 80. This has been priming for a little while. I love how cool this thing feels in my hand. It's really ergonomic. It's got a nice, good weight to it. That 21700 battery is pretty much a fat boy. So let's see what kind of cloud production we can get out of this. Okay, so immediately it's pretty hot. I'm actually going to give this a couple more puffs here. Okay, so one of the things I really hate about breaking in a new coil is kind of that new coil taste that you get with some of the juice. Now, I have actually read some reviews done from a couple other people of the flavor coming out of the tank or the coil combo or something like that from this device before, and a couple people, just consumer reviews, have said that they really didn't like the flavor of the e-juice that was going through the mini sub-ohm Captain on this, and I don't really know why. I mean, the device construction is pretty much no different from the Captain S. I'm going to down ramp this to 55. Overall, pretty solid performance. So far, I'm not really getting a bad experience from this. And the one good thing I can honestly say is that zero leakage so far. Okay, no drippage. The last consumer review that I read stated that the person had juice just coming down their hands and all over the sides of the mini Captain sub-ohm here. And I'm not experiencing any of that at all. It's perfectly and completely dry. I'm getting a nice, consistent, immediate fire. Let's try ramping it down to 40 watts. That's the lowest we can go on this coil. Okay, so I'm still getting good cloud production. So far, I'm getting a pretty simple interface going on with a 0.32 ohm, 3.64 volts, for those of you that even care about that. Okay, so overall, I like the features. You obviously got your different set features for those of us that like to build our coils. You can play around with the TCR. It's got 2 different memory modes for those of us that care about that too. I really don't, because I can up ramp or down ramp to my pleasure. You've got the screen setting. You can change it from, I think, was it 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or 90 seconds, or 10. I believe it was 4 settings. Might be wrong. You can change the puff set counter. 2.9 seconds shows me how long I hit the fire button. Mini OLED screen, and you can get these things in a variety of different colors. Now, working with the 21700 battery, I'm really interested and curious to see how long throughout the next upcoming week this thing will last on just the charge that comes right out of the box. And then, of course, I'm probably just going to take this out and stick it in my charger and give it a complete and full charge, as I'm working on about 3/4 of a charge as is. So a cap out of 100 watts once again. So this is definitely not a mod for those of us that favor on the unregulated side, because this does not have a bypass mode. So those of us that want to just flick straight to the bypass and call this a a cool looking little mech mod at that point, you're not going to experience that. But this is going to keep you within certain parameters. But you know what? This is a very cool little mod the Capo 100 watt from iJoy. So that's about it. iJoy USA, I just want to thank you once again for sending me some cool stuff to review. If any of you guys have any questions on the Capo 100 watt kit, definitely slam something in the comment section below, or get a hold of me on DM at Joe of All Vapes on Instagram, or just slam me a message through YouTube here, you know what I mean? I'll try and get a hold of you and comment back to you as efficiently as possible. So, bringing this to a close, thank you once again for joining me. This is Joe of All Vapes, your eye in that vaping sky, wishing you to stay humble. You love yourselves, love each other, folks, and keep it wonderfully cloudy. Hey everybody, this is Joe of All Vapes. Thank you for watching. For the best in vape reviews, pound that subscribe button, and don't forget, vaping saves lives.